Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to Agile in 7, where we talk about concepts of agile ways of working in 7 minutes or less. Today we're going to be talking about stand-ups, and while we're not going to be going too much into detail on what a stand-up is, because you can Google that, we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of these cases that we see day to day in stand-ups. These could be anti-patterns, these could be fun experiments that people have done. We're also going to talk about our own experiences with some bad stand-ups and some good ones. So stand-ups are not a status update, and I know that can seem a little bit confusing. The thing is it's about accountability for the team working towards a common goal. Some of the things that we see is that the team members are giving stand-ups directly, or the stand-up update, directly to the Scrum Master or the product owner. As the Scrum Master or the facilitator for this daily stand-up, my trick is to not look at anybody. So if I have one team member starting to talk to me about what they're doing, I look away because I don't care what they're doing. The team cares what they're doing, so they can help each other out. Sometimes I'll even directly call out that behavior and I'll say, why are you talking to me about this? I'm just facilitating this. If you notice that they're talking to the product owner quite a lot about their update instead of the team, that's another thing you could hopefully easily call out and say, hey, we're talking to the whole team. You might even ask the product owner not to come for a little while if there's a little bit of lack of trust there, because the product owner should trust that things are up to date.
Now, a question I hear a lot as a coach is, how do I spruce up my stand-up? Maybe it's starting to feel a bit boring for the team, this drudgery that we do the same thing every day at the same time. Some things I like to use are little rituals that make it fun for the team. And stand-ups are a great opportunity to put in little fun team in-jokes that helps the team to feel closer. One example I've heard of this is having a rubber chicken that people throw around as they're talking, and it kind of functions like a talking stick. So here's what I've got to say, throw the rubber chicken to you, you give it a few squeaks, and then you can start talking about what you have to say. Another thing you might want to try is a fun icebreaker at the start of stand-up. For example, a quick check-in about how you're doing, or if you're doing a remote stand-up, it could be a GIF that represents how you're doing today. Post it in the chat somewhere.
Some things that some teams can do to spruce things up a little, the more mature they get with the stand-up, or to be honest, if they're getting a little bored of the stand-up in its current format, is to, think outside the box. Sometimes this can backfire though. One time I implemented the idea of every Wednesday we did a boot camp style stand-up. This was just to make things a bit more interesting and exciting. So every Wednesday morning we'd go into a big meeting space and we would have the team stand in a circle, and each person who gave their update had to nominate a type of exercise. So we'd all have to hold a plank while I spoke to my stand-up update that morning. Then I'd nominate someone else and they would say star jumps. So this was quite fun because the initial concept was to make sure that we weren't going into too much detail and that stand-ups weren't going on too long and that they were staying nice and fun. After about a month of doing this though, I had some feedback that we were spending more time focusing on the pain of the wall sit rather than listening to the updates from the team. So we stopped it. And we implemented something a little bit different that still brought a bit of pizzazz, but the focus was back on the communication with the team and not on the slightly uncomfortable exercise we were doing.
Another thing I like to try to spruce things up, particularly if the meeting's starting to drag a bit, that people are talking for quite a while, is to shift the focus from each person giving an update to let's talk about the work that we have. So a simple way of talking about that is walk the board. You have your work visualized and you just start with the highest priority thing, talk about that, and whoever's working on it can mention an update where it's at, any blockers, anything anyone can do to help. And that makes it less centered on, I have a thing I'm doing today that I'm personally invested in, and you're going to think I'm bad if I haven't done it, versus our team has some work to do and we're all accountable to it, and I happen to be the person who's working on it and I care about it right now.
Another thing that teams could do, though some other teams might get a little bit annoyed about it, is ending your stand-up with some sort of ritual. For example, I have seen a lot of teams do a synchronized clap. One of my teams did this really weird squat and holler kind of thing, but it was fun, and it got the rest of the office not only thinking, what the heck are they doing, but laughing. It was a thing that we did as a team to get us through the not so great piece of work that we were all doing, so help build that team morale. Another thing you can do if you have a dedicated facilitator in your team is that facilitator could ask someone else to facilitate stand-up for the day. That makes it a bit more even, a bit more fun. You've got different personalities, and especially if you've got a team that like to give their update to the facilitator instead of the team, putting that onus on the team members to own the facilitation of the stand-up that morning really helps build that trust within the team, that they're not giving a status update to the product owner or the facilitator. So there are many different ways that you can have good and bad stand-ups. There are lots of different things that should and shouldn't happen. Our advice is just to try things and experiment. Even in our own team, we this week alone have tried about 4 different stand-up methods just to see what sticks. And the thing is one day that method might be fine and the next it might not be fine. But it's all just about keeping people interested and keeping it fun. It is a team event and it belongs to the team. So from Rupert and myself and the rest of the Agile and 7 crew, thanks for watching our video on stand-up. Please like, subscribe, and give us some feedback so we can improve our videos. And if you've got any cool things that you want to hear about, also let us know in the comments. See ya!